Kim, did you hear about the new thing that DoorDash is doing where they're actually telling customers to go out to eat rather than ordering through the app?
I did. I saw it. Was it in the news yesterday? I read about it somewhere. I can't remember where.
That
I
is
saw it and I just shook my head and went, whatever, and then moved on.
that is the weirdest thing. So we didn't put that in the show notes for today. I just found out about this. So I had dropped the video about it, and I'm just mind boggled by that. I mean, a delivery company telling their people, their customers, don't order from the app, yet go out for dinner instead.
I feel like they're trying to break into like the open table niche or like one of those type of things, or like the Zygot niche, to like something that gives you like rewards for going out to eat. So I feel like it's another thing to get them competitive in another form of the restaurant business, but it really does not help drivers whatsoever.
No, I mean, at least not initially, right? So the way that this is working is select customers, existing customers in select markets, are being given the option to check in, and they can dine out at select restaurants, and they can get pretty substantial DoorDash credits by doing so. So wow. The one that I referenced was offering, I think it was like $20 worth of DoorDash credits to actually go out for dinner. So I mean, yeah, like obviously initially at first that's going to be, the drivers aren't going to be the winners there initially, but maybe when people start spending their credits, we'll see some get back.
We get the kickbacks. We get the second hands.
It's something like that. So anyway, how's the week been, Kim? You good?
I am good. I've been, I work gig apps like all the way through every weekend. So every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you roll back around and we're back here again. And I don't know whether you guys noticed, like in my area, like there was something funky happening with DoorDash yesterday where they were sending multiple orders multiple times. And then on Uber Eats, like as soon as you declined an order, it kicked you off the app. Like, I'm like, what is going on? And that was yesterday. So far, everything today seemed okay as I was working it, but man, it was a pain in the butt yesterday working some of those food delivery apps. And
that wasn't on. Shouldn't be.
Oh, you were for half a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. So I heard about that. I wasn't working DoorDash last night, so I'm glad I got to miss that thing entirely, because that would have really frustrated me. Kim, was it when you were declining the same order over and over, was it knocking your acceptance rate every time?
Yes. And then it happened to me just twice. According, like when I was in like Facebook groups, like it was happening to people like over and over and over again. It happened to me once and I declined it. And it came back again. I'm like, I really don't want to take this order. And then it came back a third time. I'm like, okay, I can't take this decline again. And I ended up taking it. But the good thing is, I know, but they actually, for once, upped the price of it. So I think it started at $6.75, and then I took it at $8.25. I just honestly, it was a mall order, and I was lazy, and I didn't want to walk into a mall, and that's the reason why I declined it. And I'm like,
I don't blame you. Into a mall. Oh, I don't blame you. Yeah, no. To get me into a mall, it's got to be paying, $15, something like that. It's a dangerous thing here. The mall, all the teenagers and the driving, and it doesn't matter. I like to avoid it. Kim, we got an interesting show tonight. Going to be a couple of hot button issues, so that should be interesting to see how you and I get along with these. We are going to talk about privacy concerns with Uber Eats robots that are slinking around various cities. We're going to talk about DoorDash giving out money to more drivers, including our friend Ronald. So that'll be fun to kind of talk about that. Yeah. Kim is going to flex on us a little bit with more of her insanely good offers that none of us seem to get. We're going to talk about... We're going to talk about a DoorDash driver who got involved in an altercation a while back, shot someone, was found innocent but is still sitting in jail. We're going to talk about why, and we're going to react to that. We're going to talk about more scams. We're going to talk about a driver's wild experience at McDonald's, of all places. And we're going to wrap up the show with an update on New York City's $18 an hour minimum wage. And of course, we've got some funny stuff in there too. So it should be an interesting show, Kim.
It should be. I'm excited to get going.
So why don't we go ahead and pull up this first slide? Let's get right into the hot button issues here. So Serve Robotics is the company that Uber Eats is largely working with for their little beady-eyed little robot bastards. And as you can see there, the title of that is Snitch. So there are some privacy fears around Uber Eats delivery robots after the company, Serve Robotics, shares footage with the LAPD. Uber Eats delivery robots are equipped with cameras, and they've been deployed in various parts of Los Angeles, specifically since June of 2022. Residents and activists are concerned that these robots could be used for surveillance purposes by various third parties, including law enforcement. There is a YouTube channel and a TikTok account called Film the Robots LA, which
it's hilarious if you can go watch it.
It is so funny. You know, I mean, so keep in mind, like, I'm approaching that with the mindset of I'm not a fan of these things to begin with. But yeah, if you guys want a good laugh after the show, go check out Film the Robots LA. You will not be disappointed. But this channel has been documenting these robots navigating the sidewalks, sometimes obstructing pedestrians and pets, and even getting stuck in the middle of sidewalks and, I don't know, roads. You'd think that a robot would probably be best not on the road, but I digress. So Serve Robotics, the startup that provides the robots to Uber Eats, shared a video footage recently from one of its robots, with the Los Angeles Police Department in a criminal case. The case involved an attempt by two people to steal the robot itself, not the food in it, but the robot itself from the streets. The suspects were later identified and convicted with the help of the video evidence. So Serve Robotics says that they comply with valid subpoenas from the various police departments and only share footage for safety or security issues. So, Kim, right off the bat, we're going to have to go years back for this, but this reminds me of when TSA got themselves in a lot of hot water because they're full body scanner things that people like walk in and they, you know, do the weird like pose thing. There were images that got leaked from TSA, and you could actually make out a fairly not much was left to the imagination. That's what this reminds me of.
How? I don't understand.
Because it's an invasion of privacy.
Oh, I'm like, that's not where I thought you were going with it.
Yeah, no, it's like a huge invasion of privacy, right? People don't think about stuff like that, but there's cameras everywhere. Now, I've got two trains of thought. If you're walking down the street, you are technically in a public place, right?
Yeah.
However, how close are these getting, and are they able to see inside people's property?
That I don't know. It would have been a really good question for the CEO when he was on
Ali Kashani.
Yeah, when he was on Show Me the Money Club. That would have been a pretty good question to ask him. I don't know. I'll be honest, my very first thought of this is who would be stupid enough or who would want to steal these robots? Like, I don't get that to begin with. So when I was reading this article, I'm like, why would you want to steal it? I don't understand. Tweakers will steal anything, Kim. Okay, I still don't get it, but okay.
Anyway, so all right, look, I'm the kind of person who is privacy minded. However, I also understand that if I'm in a public place, there's a very real chance that my picture is going to be taken, you know, be it through, you know, somebody taking a selfie and I just happen to be walking by them at the wrong time, or, you know, various surveillance cameras. So
I mean, these robots have to be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know how much each one of these costs. So I would assume Serve Robotics would have to have some kind of camera device on them to protect their assets, to make sure that something like this doesn't happen to the robotics. At least if I was a business person, I would do the same based off the price point and how much they cost. So, but I understand the privacy thing. I just feel like we're all living in Big Brother. I feel like there's cameras everywhere, whether it's on the streets or ATMs. Like there's cameras literally, I feel like every inch of the United States and the world, that I guess it doesn't faze me, to be honest with you.
Well, it's like Anthony said, real life Skynet. And then, there's another comment here, Big Brother on steroids. And that's kind of true. So I'm not particularly concerned if a crime is committed about the footage being given to the police department. Like that is what it is. My concern is who else is it going to be shared with, right? And why is it recording? Like, I would think that the cameras would be used specifically for if the stupid thing can't figure out how to like navigate, some sort of a hurdle that's in its path.
It could be. I mean, it could be a dual purpose. They might be always running in case it does run into that kind of. I kind of think of it like a drone, right? So, like, you have a joystick and it's roaming around, and I'm sure there's some kind of AI involved in these that kind of gets it to its destination. So, if it does go off wire, they can kind of put it back on track. So to me, I feel like it would be a dual purpose, but I don't know electronics well enough to say that.
I'd be tempted to like moon one of these things, knowing that they're like recording now. Give them something to look at.
Talk about privacy invasion right there.
I don't care, right? I mean, as long as it's not like filming inside my home or something. If I'm out in public, it is what it is. But I think that the bigger cause for concern is the fact that they could potentially sell that data to third-party companies, and there's no telling what that could be used for at that point. I don't know. That's just my synopsis, Kim.
I always think conspiracy theory. Sometimes that was an oxymoron right there. I think conspiracy theories sometimes. That's what I was trying to say. And it could be. Like I said, I just think there's cameras everywhere. This is just another camera added to the mix. So.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think that as long as they're being transparent about where the information's going, right? Because we kind of just have to take them at their word. Like, we're not selling this to third parties.
Yeah.
But guys, if you would just chime in the chat. Yes, you think that this is a privacy concern, or no, you don't think it's a privacy concern. Just one or two words is great. But Kim, what would you do? Would you just like stand there and watch it if you saw one of those passing you by?
I think I would, because I would be more fascinated on what it would do. I see and they're like all over TikTok. So if you even just go to TikTok and just put like delivery or food delivery robots, like there's TikToks everywhere, and some of them are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But there's so many videos out there of like people treating them like humans, like, okay, buddy, let's get you up on the sidewalk, or like they literally treat them like humans. I feel like it'd be like people watching, right? So like you would kind of watch to kind of see what happens. You'd be like, what are they going to do next?
My favorite one was where it got hit by the train.
Yeah. See, mine is when it went through the crime scene.
So I still can't believe, after we found out that thing was being controlled by a human at that point. A human. How does that happen? I
think that one's my favorite one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know. I hadn't really thought about the privacy issues, but I also didn't realize they were constantly recording. Like, it's one thing if the damn thing's like being shaken or something like that, but to constantly record, it's a little much in my opinion.
Yeah. I Robot or Wally, and then Carmen says Wally. Wally is one of my favorite Disney movie. One of them. It's not my favorite Disney movie, but I reference Wally all the time, and this really does remind me of Wally.
Yeah. So we've got a video to play here. Why don't we go ahead and do that?
Yep. bear with me. Before we do that video, I'm going to go into today's sponsor before we even play that video, if you're okay with that, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's sponsor is Buy a Wallet. Can't say enough. Great. The Wallet was on last week. So if you haven't checked out that episode, go check them out. The link is in the description of this live. And we're going to learn more about Wallet right now.
Cash advance company trusted by over 90,000 drivers. We help drivers who need cash advances for paying insurance, vehicle maintenance repairs, gas money, and any of your business-related endeavors. We have an extremely fast application process, allowing you to have your money in 24 hours. It's fast, no impact on your credit score, and no credit checks. We approve your application based on cash flow from your rideshare business. Join Wallet today and never worry about being strapped for cash again.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a driver named Ronald on from Hawaii. And this gentleman makes six figures driving in paradise. So one thing that Ron does is he gets a ton of deliveries in. And he was just rewarded along with several other drivers around the country. So Doordash just gave out, actually, let me back up here before we get into the amounts here. Doordash is celebrating its most active Dashers who have completed the highest number of lifetime deliveries with a special one-time reward. So eligible drivers were notified on email or via email on Thursday, the 28th of September, and payments were processed on the same day. Drivers with 20,000 lifetime deliveries, at least. Okay, so they got $1,000 if they had 20,000 to 25,000 deliveries. They got $3,000 if they had 25,000 to 30,000 deliveries, and they got $5,000 if they had over 30,000 deliveries.
It's crazy.
Oof. Kim, did you get any of that?
No, I'll be honest. I'm like, darn it, why couldn't it have been like 10,000 deliveries? I would have had that nailed.
Yeah, no, I still wouldn't have that. I've got, I don't know, something like 1,100 or something on DoorDash. Like, I'm really not kidding when I say it's a secondary app for me. So I just do it when it makes sense. I'm going to
say shout out to Ronald Boots, who was our guest a couple of weeks ago. He actually sent this to us the day that he actually got it. He was super excited and he wanted to share it with everybody that DoorDash was rolling out another wave of money giving. I'll call it money giving madness. Is that a good way of putting it? Money giving madness. But it looked like it was rolled out to a lot more drivers this time. So Zach, maybe DoorDash listened to us when we talked about it the last time, and we said that more Dashers should be getting more money. So maybe they actually listened. What do you think?
It's possible, but this also reminds me of Nova getting deactivated for having too many deliveries.
I know.
So, I mean, it's like you're kind of rolling the dice at this point, right? Like you might get deactivated, you might get $5,000, you know, you're just going to have to chuck those bones and see what you get.
Yeah.
So this was, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to do the same thing you were. So go ahead.
So this is what went out to the drivers. The font, unfortunately, is very small. So basically you can see that our friend Ron got $3,000, which was really cool. He was talking about it in my Discord server. So he was very obviously excited about that. And who wouldn't be, right? I mean, to get anywhere from like $1,000 to $5,000 randomly, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you think about it, if you were a recipient of $3,000, even $5,000, like that could be like a new use, like knock around car that a delivery driver could actually get with this money. So I think it's a very generous I can't believe I'm going to say that. I think it's very generous of DoorDash to roll this out to more drivers, so more drivers qualify. Am I a little bitter it wasn't me? Maybe just a little bit. Why couldn't it have been 10,000 deliveries? Whatever, maybe next time.
You know, maybe in 10 more years, I might qualify for something, but for right now, no chance for me. Now if like Uber Eats, well, maybe not Uber Eats either. I don't know. If like Grubhub or something were to go back and they're like, hey, you have thousands of deliveries, I might be like, score, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine getting a random $5,000 deposit. That would be freaking sweet. Kind of reminds me of like,
go ahead.
Like reminds me of tax time before I was like self-employed.
I know, right? So let us know in the chat right now what you would do if you got a random $5,000 in your account, like right now from DoorDash. Like, what would you do with the money? Leave it in the chat right now. I'm just curious on what everybody would do. So, Zach, what would you do?
Kim, I'd probably buy a new computer. I'm kind of on the tail end with mine. Like, I bought this thing like 10 years ago and I really spent up for it. And fortunately, with what I'm doing with like video production and editing and stuff, it's kind of barely enough to get me by. So I'd probably drop like $3,000 on a new computer and then I don't know, go get like hella shitty or something in some warm tropical place for a week or so.
There you go. I feel like
What
I
about
would
you?
spread mine out to like random stuff. Like I would take a Disney trip. That's first thing. So I'd probably spend half of it on a Disney trip and take the family down to Disney. So that would be half of it probably. And then I think I would invest in like a couple of things like YouTube wise. I don't know whether a new computer, but maybe a new camera and stuff like that. And then I would invest some of it in my Robinhood account and then maybe do a couple projects around the house, like small projects around the house. I feel like I would like disperse it randomly.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, no, if I were wise, I'd probably invest it like a couple of people are saying in the chat. But
Yeah.
you know, my thought process is, you know, I use my computer to make money. So ultimately that's an investment. But
Yeah.
so we got a couple of answers. Move half of it to savings and draw interest. That's a good plan. And put 2,500 down on a new Genesis. What's a Genesis?
Oh, it's a Hyundai.
Oh,
It's
okay,
their like
cool.
top line Hyundai. They're
Right
nice.
on.
Yeah, they're nice.
Nice. So, you know, it's a small thing. That's cool. It was a nice thing of DoorDash here. So, there's one comment I want to highlight here. I didn't fact check the math, so we're gonna take Carmen at their word here. 8:21 p.m. your time. Yeah, in 10 years, that's a lot of deliveries, but it's only like 12 cents extra per delivery. So that's I don't know. We should like fact check that math. That'd be interesting to see how much it actually is per delivery.
I don't, honestly, that math is beyond me at this point to do it in my head. So that would definitely have to be a calculator thing. I don't know. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I have 10,000 deliveries, and I've been on the platform for how many years now? I don't even know. 2018. So
You've been there a minute.
yeah. So yeah. it would take a pretty long time. I mean, granted, I wasn't full-time the whole entire time, so I think it depends whether you're full-time, part-time, a lot of that stuff.
Okay. So let me ask you this then, Kim. Would you rather take a one-time $5,000 payout, or would you rather get the baller offers that you're about to flex on us with?
Wait, I have to choose?
If you had to pick one or the other, what would you choose?
Oh, I would still take the baller offers because they're ongoing. If $5,000 doesn't last forever.
That's fair. All right, hit us with your flex.
It wasn't supposed to be that way, Zach. So let me preface this, guys. I'm trying to spread some positivity out in our world. And I thought we can do it by sharing like our best orders of the week. And starting even next week, if you guys get a really good order, email me or Zach, and it's Kim at therideshareguy.com or Zach at therideshareguy.com, or both of us. And we're going to actually do a segment once a week that we're going to put everybody's best offer orders, I should say, up on the screen so we can celebrate the win. So before I put mine up, I'm going to ask everybody in the chat right now, what was your best order of the week? And it could be a dollar amount. It could be you had a fantastic customer. It could be anything fantastic you've done delivery wise in the past week. So right now, put your best order in the chat right now and we'll kind of compare.
I think my best order was probably a Spark order for $25 going maybe 3 or 4 miles.
So why didn't you put that up there? Why are you leaving me hanging?
That's nothing special compared to what you're about to show. That's nothing special.
Oh, come on. It's $25. That's a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, but I don't feel like that's out of the realm of normality for Spark.
Yeah, sometimes with Spark these days, yeah, kind of is.
Spark's still been pretty good in my market.
Well, you're very lucky.
Got a great Uber Eats market. I got a great Spark market. Just don't have a good DoorDash market.
Yeah, I wish I can send some your way.
Bobby, welcome. Traveler, hey, glad to see you guys. So Larry said he had a $38 order going 1.1 miles on Uber Eats. That's a good order.
That's fantastic. Good job.
I'm curious how much that showed on the offer screen. Was it like $11 or something? Ooh, 72 going 3.4 miles. 20 sandwiches catering.
That's awesome. On what platform, Carmen? I'm just curious. That's really awesome.
Salt with the $35 Chick-fil-A going 3 miles. Dang.
Wow. That's awesome.
We don't have those in my market, which is probably a good thing. I've heard very mixed things. Mine showed 1823 plus on DoorDash. All right, Kim, let's see what you got.
Okay.
Drop it on us.
Let me get over to it. Okay. My best order was $64.79. It started out at $25.75 plus, but this is the thing. I never get peak pays anymore. Randomly this past weekend, peak pays were ridiculous for whatever reason. $7 peak pay on DoorDash. When was the last time you saw peak pays? Crazy.
I haven't seen peak pay on DoorDash, honestly, Kim, in probably at least 6 months. Unless it's like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, like this week they were just like randomly, and I it's horrible to say. I'm like, what's DoorDash doing? What are they playing at with this? Because it was like random, like high paying peak pays at random times, and it wasn't the middle of the night. It was either like 10 or like 11 to like 2 or like 5 to 9 randomly throughout the week. It was very strange. But I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain, but it was just very strange.
I just saw Sergio's comment. Can we pop that up?
Oh, where is I didn't even see him pop in.
8:20. Yeah, neither did I at first. 8:28 your time. So I am definitely Cherry Pickers United. 100% through and through. Give me like 6 apps. I'm going to cherry pick. And I'm going to make my money.
That's funny.
So yeah, Kim, I just don't see stuff like that in my market. Like one of these days we need to do a market swap. I'm serious. You need to come here and you need to do it like your method. And I need to go to your market and do it your way. And I think you'd be pretty blown away with how drastically different the markets are.
I don't know. I still think I can kick some butt. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm going to kick your butt.
You would do really well on Uber Eats. Probably not so much on.
Bud Soda said his was $61 catering for pizza last week.
Ooh.
But, even if you guys have any good customer stories, so I'll give you one good customer story from mine this past week. So I feel like these days are kind of blurring. It was a Monday, Tuesday. I don't even know anymore. Anyway, I took a shopping pickup order from my local grocery store, and it was like $20 or $25, and one was 113 items, one was like 480 items, so it was a pretty substantial order. So I get to the first drop off, which is the 40 items, skyrise apartment, get it delivered, come back down, turn my car. Yeah, my car doesn't turn on, and I still have the one with 113 items of groceries in my car. I'm like, oh my god. Anyway, so luckily my husband was fantastic, and like a year or so ago got me one of those like boxes that like are jumpers, but they're also like are a battery pack, and it like saved my butt. But this is a good story. I got in contact with the customer. The customer felt horrible. I was stranded, and she was going to send her husband, and he was on his way to help me to get me jump started, which I thought was fantastic. So anyway,
that is so cool.
I ended up getting it started before he even got there. So there are some really kind people out there in the world.
That's freaking cool. All right, my story time real quick, and then we'll move on to our next topic here. So I had a grocery order on DoorDash for Safeway, and this was last summer. I got a flat tire on the way to the customer. I was probably halfway there, and I knew I could get the order delivered. I had called support like, hey, it's going to be late. You know, I can get it there, but it's going to be late. And so I also reached out to the customer, and they were cool about it, right? So I ended up getting the tire changed. And so the order gets, I get there, and the customer comes walking out. It was supposed to be a leave it at the door. And they hand me an additional $20 in cash. And they were, just appreciative that, I ended up showing up with the order. And then the fucker proceeds to give me 4 stars. I know. I'm like, what the hell, man? I
thought this was going to be a happy ending.
It's kind of a happy ending, but I don't know what I did to deserve the 4 instead of the 5. That's kind of messed up. Thank you, Steve.
Steve, much appreciated. Smack that like, y'all.
The like button is always free. Just like kindness. Thanks,
Steve. There you go.
So
anyway,
all right, Kim, you want to jump into our next one?
Ooh, we can. Before we do that, I just want to remind everybody, get a good order, send it to us so we can celebrate the wins next week. We're going to try to do it once a week.
But, or if there's a funny, if there's a funny story along with it, send it. We'd love to see it. Send it. So, all right, guys, this, let's try not to fight in the comments. It's okay to be respectful, but there's probably going to be some very differing opinions on this story. So, Kim and I will keep it classy too. So, a DoorDash driver basically shot a YouTube prankster and was ultimately acquitted of the larger crime that he was charged with, but still remains in jail. Kim, do you want to take over for a minute here?
So, there was a DoorDash driver who was trying to do a pickup at the mall, and then there was a YouTube prankster. The reason why I did this, because I figured it kind of marries both of us in what we do. But so I don't even want to say what the prankster was saying to this DoorDash driver, because I'll be honest, it was pretty crude and really offensive. At least I thought it was. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he kept getting in this guy's face and putting his phone in his face, and he kept saying, "Hey, dipshit, quit thinking about my Twinkie." Just over and over, right?
And wouldn't stop, like literally over and over again.
So basically, the driver was packing and shot the guy. So the YouTube prankster did survive, and ultimately the DoorDash driver was arrested and charged with aggravated malicious wounding and malicious shooting inside an occupied building. So in court, the juror saw the footage of the altercation, which reportedly showed the prankster holding a phone in the guy's face and not backing off. So the DoorDash driver ultimately pled not guilty and argued that the shooting came as a result of self-defense. So jurors acquitted him on the most serious charge, but found him guilty on a lesser charge, which is why he currently remains in jail still. So his lawyers are arguing that the lesser conviction is inconsistent with Virginia law, which is where this happened, obviously, after jurors found that he acted without malice and in self-defense. All right. Kim, was he justified in shooting this guy? Let's start there.
See, I don't think it needed to get that far. I just don't think that's the way to solve issues. That's just me personally. I just don't think it should have gotten that far, especially in a public place, in front of people, in a mall. Like, there are people around. Like, there are so many things that could have been a lot worse to happen. I don't think it needed to get that far. I think it's a little extreme, to be honest with you.
So this is the United States, right? And it is your right to carry if you choose to. However, it is your responsibility, not your right, but your responsibility to be, so what I'm looking for here, safe. I had the right word, and of course I lost it. So you need to, wow, Kim, why can't I think of this word? That's going to drive me crazy now. A responsible, okay, it's your responsible, yeah. You need to be a responsible gun owner if you want to do that, right? And ultimately, that's where I feel like this one fell kind of, between the cracks here. This guy, I don't think his life was in danger, right? I mean, I'm not saying he should do this.
I think he got pissed off. I think he got really pissed off. And I think the guy was really, this is my only personal opinion. I think the DoorDash driver got really pissed off because the prankster, who was a prankster, like, it was nonstop and he didn't stop. And I think the DoorDash driver got so pissed that he got beyond the point, and that's where the altercation took place, and that's where the guns kind of came out. But this is what I want to say about this is we see YouTube pranksters, TikTok pranksters all the time. And how many times have we even said it on the show? Man, one day it's going to go the wrong way and someone's going to get seriously hurt. And then you see things like this and it becomes a reality. And I think it's wrong on both parts. I think the prankster took it too far and pushed the other guy, and I think the other guy took it too far and pulled out a gun. I think they were honestly both wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess ultimately, if somebody's in my personal space like that, and I'm not saying that anybody should do this, but if somebody is like that close to me, and you can't actually physically get up to move, what's the harm in pushing them out of your way, getting up and walking out? So I got a buddy of mine, a close friend, who has a massive arsenal, right? Like if shit is popping off, I want to be at this guy's house. All right. And he constantly, when he's sitting there cleaning his collection, he's constantly saying, when you have this stuff, you need to be the coolest head in the room. You need to be the first one to walk out if something goes sideways. And, that's very true. So
I just think there's just ways of I don't think his life is in danger. I don't think he was I don't think it I don't know. I just don't think pulling a gun out is a justifiable way of dealing with a situation like this. I think there were other means of dealing with the conflict than shooting somebody.
Yeah. So there's a very valid comment here. The most recent one, 540. 840 your time, sorry. Could have recorded the prankster and filed a harassment or a public humiliation type of charge. Yeah, very true. So ultimately, regardless, at the end of the day, this guy's life was not in jeopardy. And I think that, you were right here, Kim, when you said that he just got pissed off and that was his answer to end the situation quickly. So I don't ever condone violence, but that should have been the last reaction, right? To reach for that.
Honestly, I would have been, I don't know. I think I would be more proud of the person for either shoving him or even punching him than pulling a gun out and shooting him. Like I'm just saying, like I never, I'm with you. I never condone violence whatsoever, but I would rather it be a lesser violence if you're going to get pissed off. Like shove the guy out of your face, like do whatever you need to do to get the person out of your face opposed to pulling a gun.
Yeah, for sure. So, ultimately this guy's decisions, both of these people are going to have negative repercussions for the rest of their life because of this incident. The prankster got shot, right? Like that's not going to be without its issues moving on in his life. I think he was shot in the stomach, if I'm not mistaken.
It was his chest or stomach. I can't remember which one.
And the DoorDash driver is never going to be able to drive for any of these apps again because he was convicted of a crime. So that's going to carry with both of them indefinitely. I don't know. Guys, just be quick to walk away with any bullshit.
But it's just not worth it. Like, is it really worth it?
No, it
like,
wasn't
when
worth it.
If you really think about it, like at least for me, like this is full-time work for me. So just by this one act of violence, I now took away my entire earning potential and how I earn a living. Like it's just, to me, it's just never worth it. Stuff like this to me is stupid, and it's never worth it on both ends, on prankster's ends and the person shooting the gun.
No, I agree. And it's just mind-boggling to me that some of these people think that nothing is going to go wrong. Right? Like I'm not going to go walking up to somebody and start shoving my phone in their face and saying something stupid and expect not to get punched or worse, right? I don't know. Anyway, so we've got an interesting topic. This driver is trying to figure out if they got scammed. Kim, that's kind of small for me to read. Are you able to?
Yeah, let me just pull it up on my end.
Okay.
Bear with me.
So basically, I'll just have you read this. There's it's going to give away too much otherwise.
And the reason why I actually put this in here, because this actually did happen to me, and the same exact scam happened to me. So
really?
It is. That's why I really wanted to talk about it, because I wanted everybody to be aware that this actually does happen. And I can tell you what I personally did when it happened to me, but I want to read this guy's story so you guys can hear from him. He said, and this was on Uber Eats. Mine was on Doordash. So it is something that happens on both platforms. Anyway, tonight I accepted an order for one item, a drink. And when I got to the restaurant, the staff asked me to wait for more food because the order was made by the restaurant's owner. Turns out he ordered the cheapest item off the menu to get a cheap delivery for free food from his own restaurant. The one item delivered turned out to be 5 items delivery, and the kicker, I only got a $1 tip. LOL. What would you all do in this situation? Should I report this guy?
Talk to us. I've never run into this scenario.
So this happened to me a couple months ago. I go into a restaurant that I know really well. They know me by name. And it was for 2 items. And I go to the counter, and the manager, I don't know whether he knew because it was me. I don't know. But 2 items. It was a Greek place that does it's like Chipotle, except for Greek. It's actually pretty awesome. Anyway, 2 items. He comes out with 2 bags. And I'm like, I think you gave me the wrong order. I only have 2 items. And he goes, oh no, the customer called me and they wanted to add 4 more items to the order and add it to their order. And I said, well, I'm only here for 2 items. And he's like, oh, well, as the manager, I did it as the courtesy to give it to them for free. I'm like, no, you freaking did it. So I personally did not take the items. I said, listen, I'm here for the 2 items. These are the 2 items I'm taking. And he actually had them separated in the 2 bags. And I took the 2 items and I delivered the 2 items that I had. And sorry, they're going to have to figure out a way to get these other items to the customer. Well, this is the thing. And it's happened to me before, is people order 1 item, 2 items because it's a lesser delivery fee. They only have to pay the driver like $2 or $3 versus if they order 7 items and they have to pay the driver now like a $10 tip and now like a $5 fee and all these other fees. They're trying to get around fees and tipping the driver. So you just, as a driver, you just shortchanged yourself in the base fare and you shortchanged yourself in a tip as well. So that's what happened to me.
Got to be honest here, Kim. I don't think that I would have caught that one.
Yeah.
I think that I just would have been like, okay, whatever, carried out the bags and went about my merry way.
No.
Now, I could have, if I went to go and pick up, $30 worth of food and ended up dropping off 150 and ended up with like a $3 tip, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed.
Well, that's the thing.
But,
like mine was only supposed to be like a $20 subtotal. Think about Chipotle and you add 4 more bowls, it becomes close to $100 worth of food you're delivering. You're now even liable for the food you're delivering that's not on your order. What happens if the customer comes back and blames the driver?
Well, okay, I mean, that's fine and well, but here's the thing. If the customer does try to report the driver for order items that Doordash doesn't know exist or whoever, right? They're going to be like, oh, well, we didn't get 4 bowls and 2 sodas and a side of guac. And Doordash or Uber is going to be like, what are you talking about, dude? You ordered like fries.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
it wasn't planned. If it was 1 item and say, hey, they forgot, I'm making this up, a pita, or they forgot to add a side of fries. Okay, whatever, just throw it in the bag. I'm good. But when you're going from 2 items now to like 6 items and it's changed from a $20 subtotal to now close to $100 subtotal, you're just cheating yourself out of a whole lot of money as a driver.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you're wrong here. I just don't know that I would have really given it much thought. I wouldn't have, like, my scam alert radar thing wouldn't have gone off for that, honestly. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. I'm learning something here tonight too. So,
so
can we put up Carmen's comment from 847? Thank you. Yep. Always report anything uncomfortable or questionable. In my area, high school kids are putting hand it to me on purpose, knowing that we have to leave it and then claiming undelivered and giving us 1-star ratings. That is fucking dirty. And that's not to be ageist here, but that is one reason that I do not want to go to high schools or middle schools, anything like that. I don't want to risk it, Yeah. An adult has, that fully developed brain where they're like, if I do this, I could potentially be screwing somebody else over. A teenager either might not realize that or might not care. So when I see a high school student or something, a high school address pop up, I do a lot of Uber Eats. I use Para myself. And that has been a huge game changer for me. Because it'll pop up that address and I see like Squalicum High School or something like that. And I'm like, F that. So.
Yeah. And I also called support too, just FYI, because I was going to cover my butt no matter what. So, because it's very easy for restaurants to call on drivers. It's easy for the customer to make a complaint. So I was in contact with support too. So they, knock on wood, they backed me up and everything was good. But yeah, I think that the manager's like, darn, I didn't get away with it.
So I want to move into this next topic. We actually have a video. Were you able to pull that?
Yep. You ready? Okay.
Oh no, you're fine.
Somebody pulled a gun at the McDonald's.
Oh my god!
So it was like
are you okay?
Whole thing. Yeah, he just stopped taking orders. So I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Oh my god, are you okay? What happened?
I'm already high as shit, so I didn't give a fuck.
What happened?
Not me. No, someone pulled a gun on someone else.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah. I'm fine.
Are you sure?
No.
Do you need anything?
Yeah.
Top 10 things to not say to your customers. I'm already high as shit.
I'm good. I'm high.
Yeah. Do not tell your customers that you are high as shit as you're walking back to your vehicle to take it on a road around other cars and people and kitties. All right, let's get into the story here, Kim. I'm already high as shit. What the hell, man? Not a good thing to say to your customers. Like that's what I want the focus of the story to be on. You know, not the fact that somebody decided that McDonald's was an appropriate place to catch a felony. I want to focus on the driver. Anyway. All right. So this gentleman, what's that?
He said every time I saw this, I just started laughing hysterically because I'm like, this guy is so high, he really doesn't even know what he's saying to the customer.
I know. So that was a video that went viral, and it captured, regardless of how I feel he acted, a very human moment between himself, or between the driver and the customer. So the customer's order was late and the driver explained that it was because somebody pulled a gun at McDonald's and caused the delay. So as you heard in the video, McDonald's had stopped making orders after this happened, presumably because the police showed up and had to investigate and needed witness statements and so on and so forth. So, Kim, delivery driver is ranked as one of the 10 most dangerous jobs in the United States. And I got to be honest here. Maybe it's just my bias from my area and the times I drive, but I usually don't see it. But I mean, it's possible to get involved in a situation like that.
I think it's possible anywhere. Don't discount anywhere that you live, even if you think it's safe. This world is just too nutty and crazy for me to be naive that this doesn't exist everywhere, because it does. But have I seen it happen? No. Does it exist? Yes. Could I see it happening at a McDonald's and Walmart? Yes. But according, this was at nighttime, so clearly this is a pretty late delivery, I'm gonna assume, just based off of the video and it being nighttime.
And he was already high as shit.
Yeah.
Kim,
so can it happen? Yes. We'll get into delivery. We're gonna get into delivery driver. Is that what we're gonna do?
All right. No, here's the thing, right? Like, I don't have a record, obviously, because I drive for these apps, right? But every guy has thought about, at some point, if I were going to be a criminal mastermind, what would I do? Right? Like, for me, it would probably be because I took part in a heist or something like that. Okay. Like, I don't know, I robbed a freaking bank or something like that. Not because I got ignorant at McDonald's. Like, that is an ignorance moment. Who wants to catch a felony at McDonald's? There were no winners in this situation whatsoever. I mean, the poor girl's order was late. The driver was high as shit, kind of made himself look like an ass, in my opinion. Whoever pulled the gun, probably got a felony, assuming they got caught. I guess the McDonald's workers got a longer break than usual.
It kind of reminds me of the prankster story. So what happens if one person gets in an altercation with another person? I can see this happening at McDonald's, and then someone pulls a gun, and then there you go. There is, a whole huge to-do happens at McDonald's. So that's why I said I feel like it could happen anywhere. It just takes literally seconds for someone to get into an altercation for something like that, and someone pull a gun out. So I don't think someone went in and said, unless they're going to, hold up McDonald's, which why would you hold up McDonald's and not a bank? So I don't know.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm catching up on the comments here. 8:53 your time.
Which one? There's two. There's three.
Carmen.
Okay.
So this says, I got carjacked on a delivery 2 years ago at UNT campus, University of North Texas. I don't know. And they found my car along with 7 other cars in a field a couple of weeks later. That is crazy. Like, I'm glad you're
It's
okay. Like, yeah, this kind of stuff can happen though, people. Like, ooh. I don't know, Kim. Maybe I just drive in a really good area, but that's insane. I mean, like, to hear that firsthand, right?
I'm telling you, like, I feel like I live in probably one of the safest areas that I can think of, but I still, every single time I go into a restaurant, every time I do a delivery, I still take my keys with me. I don't trust anybody nowadays. There are too many crazy people out there to trust anybody.
Yes,
You never know
there
what's going to
are.
happen. You just never know what's going to happen.
Way too many
That's the only
crazy
thing I'm
people
going
out
to say.
there. Yeah.
There is.
So let's get into our last story here before the funnies. So we had covered this a while back. Basically, there was a thing that City Council was doing in New York City where they were trying to pay drivers $18 an hour. So this passed the City Council and basically got adopted. However, of course, Uber, Doordash, and Grubhub stepped in, filed lawsuits, and basically sued to block the legislation. So after some legal battles, they lost. They being Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. So the judge ruled that this is going to go into effect. I've got some mixed feelings about this here, Kim. So the actual dollar amount is going to be $17.96 per hour, and the rate goes up to $20 an hour by 2025. I know some drivers in New York who are not happy about this.
I wouldn't be happy about this.
I don't think I'd be happy about that either. It's you're putting a ceiling on how much you can earn, essentially.
Yeah.
And
in New York City, where it's one of the most expensive places to live,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most, like, it is so expensive, and now you're this is not a good thing at all. I don't see it being a good thing for drivers.
I don't know. No, of course not. Well, I mean, when you raise, like, that's going to increase the cost of customers ordering. Like, it's already expensive. So, and from what I hear, even New York City, one of the most densely populated cities in the country, is oversaturated.
Yeah.
What is that going to do when you have a bunch more drivers who are out longer to try to make money because they're just not getting orders, so they're staying out hours longer? Like, that's a nightmare scenario. So, my personal opinion, maybe it'll get overturned. I don't know. Maybe they'll file an appeal or something, but time will tell. Just have a lot of apps.
I don't think it's going to go away. To be honest with you, I just don't think it's going to go away. Sorry, New York City.
Yeah, and the bitch of it is, right? They were trying to do this for the drivers, but that's who ended up getting screwed here. I don't know. Yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
I agree with Bud Soda. He goes, floor meets ceiling. It's actually a good thing that the apps tried to stop it. For once, I do think it's a good thing that the apps were trying to stop it.
Yeah, typically when these companies step in to fight any kind of legislation, the legislation that they're fighting was actually good for us, but I don't know, not this time. Time will tell, but I see this being problematic in the long run. Kim, we got some funnies.
We have some funnies.
I can take care of this first one for you.
Oh, good.
Don't worry, I got you.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to get an email about this tomorrow. So I decided to name this Past the Vibe Check. So this is a conversation on DoorDash between the driver and the customer, obviously. And so the message from the driver reads, "Hi, whoever. Your Trojan Divine multi-speed vibrator and selected substitutions are all out of stock. Would you like something else?" And then they send them a picture of the naughty toy section at presumably Walgreens. I actually just had this debate with somebody. Somebody tried telling me Walgreens doesn't carry adult products like this. And I was like, yes, they do.
Yes, I do.
Anyway, so the customer responded, "Did you ask customer service? Sometimes they put it in the back. Me and my boyfriend have ran into this last time. I think they do it because people will go in and take them." So and then the driver says, "I'll check right now."
This actually happened to me.
Yeah, I've yet to have this happen. I've
This
never had
actually
somebody
happened to
order.
me.
Yeah, I've never had somebody order something like this.
Yeah, this actually happened to me on Uber Eats during like the middle of the pandemic times. And this is before Uber Eats did substitutions, and you actually couldn't proceed unless you contacted the customer. So they were out. And
What do you
I'm like,
do if the customer starts asking questions, like
oh, they did.
asking you to describe like how well it vibrates and like the strength of the product?
They didn't ask that. They were just like, well, how about this one? Well, how about this one? Do they have this one? I'm like, how do you know so much about this?
You know, I would just love this experience once just to say I've done it, you know?
Yeah.
Make a whole YouTube video about it. Check out what I just bought. Get myself demonetized and shit. Sounds like a great time.
But yeah, I feel for this driver because I've been there and done that.
That's too funny. So I feel like maybe we have the same customer ordering for our next funny. Check this out. So this was a DoorDash order, and the customer named themselves a spanking.
Yeah.
That could be a good time. I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely getting an email tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know, but oh man. You know, one of these days we should poll a bunch of drivers and just see what the most out there combination of items ordered has been.
Yeah.
That could make for an interesting segment for a show.
There you go.
So
don't start flooding our emails with that one.
Yeah. That would be, that'd be funny. All right, we got another order to show you. No, we don't. I'm sorry, I left that one out.
This one I just thought was cute. It says, "Where's Dasher?" He got a new gig, and it's Dasher in the DoorDash bag.
That's funny.
I'm in the holiday spirit lately, so I figured I would start off with a Christmas one.
It's not even Halloween yet, Kim.
My Christmas tree goes up soon. That's how crazy I am.
Define soon.
Christmas. Like probably in like a week or two.
What?
Yeah.
It's not even Halloween, Kim.
I know. Last year, I have a picture of my daughter in her Halloween costume in front of the Christmas tree. Yeah.
So do you have your Christmas lights up in July and people are like, "Oh my God, she hasn't taken them down yet." And you're like, "No, I'm just early."
No, it usually starts in October. I have 3 trees in my house.
But no, see, Christmas doesn't start in October. It starts in December.
No. No. It starts early.
I don't know. I'm the freaking Grinch. I'm like, it's 4 days before Christmas. Better put the tree up.
No. It literally it takes me a while to decorate my house. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm a Christmas. I love Christmas.
So our last one, I'm going to quit picking on you. Our last one is courtesy of my friend Salt. So he was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here. So he said this to me. So you know that you're dealing with somebody unhinged when the message starts with "you fucks." So all of that scribbling on all of those pieces of paper are basically screaming at the driver to either knock or call them. So they berate the drivers, they threaten them, they harass them. So basically, ultimately, they just want a knock on their door or a phone call. So, Kim, what would you do if you saw that for yourself?
I would literally just leave it at the door and run.
Just knock, knock, knock.
No, I wouldn't even knock. I would just go, there you go, and like literally hightail it out of there.
You know,
like, when you sent this to me, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, but to like start it like that, "you Fs," like I'd see that and be like, "Bah," you know. And I think ultimately it depends on how well they tipped, right? Like if they tipped well for my time, like I'm probably gonna knock. Hey, sorry about the bad experience with the other, the other drivers, but there you go. But if they didn't tip well or not at all, I'm right there with you. I'll haul ass up out of there.
Yeah. I'll be like, peace.
Deuces. So, Kim, do we have anything else for today? I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
Bye. No, I'm kidding.
And then the show ends.
Guys, we want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. We're here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, we're going to start doing that, showing off the best order of the week. So if you have an order that paid a lot or came with a funny story, send it to us, Zach at therideshareguy.com. That is Zach with an H, because I spell it correctly, or Kim at therideshareguy.com. So we better check our email in a couple of days and just be flooded with screenshots.
I would love to be flooded with screenshots or anything that you guys see out there that you think is wacky or you want us to share with the rest of the audience.
Yeah.
Please feel free to send this to us. We'll be more than happy to put it as a segment and we can talk about it. If you see something happening on DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Walmart, Spark, anything you see out of the ordinary that you want to share, don't forget to share it with us. You can always email us, and you never know, it might be put on the show and we can have a good discussion about it. I always feel like it's always good when it comes from you guys, just because it's something we can all share and it's real life experiences that
honestly
we all
the best stuff
through.
comes from the viewers.
Yeah, it really does. I feel like it's real and it's honest, and I love talking about stuff with other people. So
yeah,
that's my 2 cents.
Guys, thank you again. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye everyone.